The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the soft hum of conversation and the occasional clatter of cups and saucers. The cafe was a haven, a small world unto itself where time seemed to slow down. Alex wiped down tables, his mind adrift. Each swipe of the cloth was automatic, a routine he had perfected over countless shifts. Yet today his thoughts were far from the task at hand. He imagined faraway lands, adventures yet to be lived. In his mind's eye he saw himself scaling mountains, exploring ancient ruins and sailing across uncharted seas. The mundane reality of the cafe faded, replaced by dreams of excitement and discovery. The bell above the cafe door chimed, pulling him back to reality. Another customer. The sound was a gentle reminder of where he was, grounding him in the present moment. He looked up, his gaze falling upon her. She was a vision, standing in the doorway with the light from outside framing her like a halo.
Elena. Her name slipped from his lips almost involuntarily, a whisper that carried with it a world of unspoken emotions.
Her laughter echoed through the cafe, bright and carefree. It was a sound that seemed to lift the spirits of everyone around, a melody that resonated with joy and lightness. She moved with an easy confidence that captivated him. Each step she took was graceful, as if she were gliding rather than walking. The way she carried herself spoke of a life well lived, full of stories and experiences. Her eyes, the color of warm honey, met his, and for a moment the world seemed to fall silent. It was as if everything else faded away, leaving just the two of them in a bubble of shared connection. A spark ignited within him, a flicker of something unknown and exhilarating. It was a feeling he couldn't quite name, a mix of curiosity, excitement, and a hint of something deeper. As they continued to hold each other's gaze, he felt a sense of possibility, as if this moment could be the beginning of something extraordinary. They found a table and sat down, the conversation flowing effortlessly. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing stories, dreams, and laughter. The hours seemed to fly by, each moment more precious than the last. At one point, their hands brushed across the table, a simple touch that sent a jolt of electricity through him. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes, a silent promise of more to come. As dusk began to settle outside, the warm glow of the cafe lights created a cozy, intimate atmosphere. It was as if the world outside had ceased to exist, leaving just the two of them in their own little universe. Eventually, it was time to say goodbye. They stood at the door, lingering for a moment, neither wanting to break the spell. Their eyes met once more, and in that look, there was a promise of future meetings, of more moments like this. Alex watched her walk away, a thoughtful expression on his face. He felt a sense of anticipation, a feeling that this was just the beginning of something wonderful. As he turned back to the cafe, he couldn't help but smile, his heart lighter than it had been in a long time. The cafe returned to its usual rhythm, the aroma of coffee filling the air once more. But for Alex, everything had changed. The ordinary had become extraordinary, and he couldn't wait to see what the future held. She settled at a table with her friends, their chatter a vibrant melody. Alex couldn't help but steal glances as he prepared their order. He meticulously crafted a swan in latte art, a small gesture for the girl with the captivating laugh.
He carefully delivered their drinks, his heart pounding a bit too loudly.
Eleanor's eyes widened as she saw the swan. A smile touched her lips, and she looked up at him, her gaze filled with amusement.
Impressive, but can you make a dragon?
Alex felt a blush creep up his neck.
A dragon?
He stammered, caught off guard by her playful challenge. Eleanor's smile widened, and he found himself captivated by the way her eyes crinkled at the corners.
Perhaps next time.
He managed, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. He retreated behind the counter, his heart still racing. As he worked, he couldn't shake the feeling that this chance encounter was something more, a prelude to a melody yet to be written. Later that evening, as Alex walked home, his thoughts returned to Eleanor. The memory of her laughter, the way her eyes lit up when she spoke, it all left an imprint on his soul. The mundane street seemed to shimmer with a newfound magic.
He reached his small apartment, his haven in the bustling city. It was modest, but it held his dreams, his aspirations. And tonight, it seemed, it held the echoes of Elena's laughter, a haunting melody that refused to fade.
Dreams of hazel eyes, a nighttime encounter. Sleep came, but it brought with it a kaleidoscope of images. Elena's face, framed by the warm glow of the cafe lights, filled his dreams. He saw her smile, heard her laughter, felt the weight of her gaze. It was as if she had woven herself into the fabric of his subconscious, a beautiful enigma he longed to unravel. He woke with a start, her name on his lips, the scent of vanilla latte lingering in the air.
Dear Diary, today was a good day. We went to that cute little cafe after school. You know, the one with the mismatched chairs and the amazing coffee? I swear their vanilla lattes are like a warm hug in a mug. Anyway, the barista, he was kind of cute. He even made me a swan in my latte. I teased him a little, asked him to make a dragon next time. He seemed flustered, which, I have to admit, was kind of adorable. Maybe I'll go back next week and see if he remembers.
Section 7. The lingering scent of vanilla memories and hopes.
The next morning, I found myself drawn back to the cafe. It wasn't just my job. It was the hope, however small, that I might see her again.
He went through the motions, grinding beans, frothing milk, but his heart wasn't in it.
Each time the bell above the door chimed, a surge of anticipation coursed through me, only to be met with disappointment.
The day dragged on, the scent of vanilla a bittersweet reminder of the girl who had captured his attention. Section 8. The promise of a new day. Anticipation builds. The city awakens with the first light of dawn, casting a golden hue over the building and streets. The early morning light filters through the windows of a quaint cafe, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air. The anticipation is palpable, as if the city itself is holding its breath, waiting for something extraordinary to happen.
As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the city, I finally closed up the cafe. The warm light of the setting sun bathed the cafe in a soft golden glow, creating an atmosphere of serene tranquility. The clinking of cups and the hum of conversations had faded, leaving behind a peaceful silence. I wiped down the counters, my mind wandering to the events of the day and the people I had served. Each interaction, each smile, seemed to carry a promise of something more. I walked home, my steps a little lighter than before. The cool evening breeze brushed against my face, carrying with it the sense of the city. The streets were alive with the sounds of laughter and distant music, creating a symphony of life that resonated within me. I felt a sense of contentment, a quiet joy that made my heart feel lighter. The anticipation of what tomorrow might bring filled me with a sense of hope and excitement.
He had a feeling, a whisper in the back of his mind, that he would see Eleanor again. It was a thought that had lingered with him throughout the day, a quiet hope that refused to be silenced. He remembered the way her eyes sparkled when she laughed, the warmth of her smile, and the way she made him feel seen. It was as if the universe was conspiring to bring them together once more, and he couldn't shake the feeling that their paths were destined to cross again.
And with that hope, I allowed myself to dream. I imagined the possibilities, the moments we could share, the conversations that would flow effortlessly between us. I pictured us sitting in the cafe, the world outside fading away as we lost ourselves in each other's company. The thought of seeing her again filled me with a sense of purpose, a reason to look forward to the days ahead. I imagined our paths crossing, conversations filled with laughter and shared secrets. I could see us walking through the city, hand in hand, exploring the hidden corners and discovering new places together. The thought of her presence brought a smile to my face, a warmth that spread through my entire being. It was a dream that felt so real, so tangible, that I could almost reach out and touch it.
He imagined a world where the girl with the honey-colored eyes might see him as more than just the barista at the cafe. He dreamed of a connection that went beyond the casual exchanges of coffee orders and polite smiles. In his mind, he saw a future where they could share their hopes and dreams, where they could be each other's confidants and companions. It was a vision that filled him with a sense of anticipation, a belief that something beautiful was on the horizon, waiting to unfold. Section 9. The allure of the unknown, drawn together.
The week seemed to stretch on forever, each day an agonizing wait. I found myself replaying our brief encounter in my mind, analyzing every word, every glance.
He couldn't explain it, this pull he felt towards a girl he barely knew.
But there was something about Elena, something in her eyes, her laugh that resonated deep within me.
It was as if their souls had recognized each other, whispering promises of a connection yet to be explored. Section 10, a chance encounter, the beginning of something new.
Saturday arrived, and with it, a familiar flutter of anticipation. The week had been long, filled with the usual routines and responsibilities, but today felt different. There was an electric charge in the air, a sense that something significant was about to happen. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but the feeling was undeniable. I found myself at the cafe earlier than usual, my heart pounding in my chest. The cafe was a place of comfort, a sanctuary where I could escape the chaos of everyday life. But today, it felt like a stage set for a pivotal moment. I chose a table by the window, hoping the view would calm my nerves, but the anticipation only grew stronger.
The bell above the door chimed, and he looked up, his breath catching in his throat. The sound was so familiar, yet today it seemed to resonate with a deeper meaning. It was as if the universe had orchestrated this very moment, aligning the stars for a fateful encounter.
It was her, Elena, the woman who had occupied his thoughts for weeks. She stood by the door, scanning the room as if searching for something or someone. Her presence was magnetic, drawing the attention of everyone in the cafe, but her eyes were fixed on him. She was even more radiant than I remembered, her eyes sparkling with a mischievous glint. Her smile was infectious, lighting up the room and making it impossible to look away. It was as if time had stopped, and in that moment, nothing else mattered.
Their gazes met across the crowded cafe, and in that instant, Alex knew that this was no ordinary encounter. The noise and bustle of the cafe faded into the background, leaving only the two of them in a bubble of shared connection. It was a moment of clarity, a realization that their paths had crossed for a reason. This was the start of something new, something extraordinary. The air was thick with unspoken words and possibilities. As they exchanged smiles, the future seemed to unfold before them, filled with endless potential and promise. It was the beginning of a journey, one that neither of them could have anticipated, but both were eager to explore.